Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to our latest video. My name
Hello.
is Blond. This here's Blondie Chu, and today we'll be discussing our experiences in retail and our opinions on it as a whole.
The place of hell.
Retail is terrible to work in. I only did 3 months, which I'm happy with, but in those 3
I
months, I realized a lot about it.
I think I did 6 or 7 months, maybe a little longer.
Yeah, I think you did quite a while.
I
And
stuck
we
in as long as I could.
There's so many different issues we could talk about, but I think one of the biggest ones is the hours. Everyone knows retail hours are always terrible, no matter where you're working. The place that I was working at was 8 to 6 p.m., but I was working Monday to Sunday. I'd only get a day off like every 8 or 9 days. Some stretches I was going 13 days straight, no breaks.
For me, I can't remember the hours much, but I remember I had to be there very early. So the shop opens at 8, I think. But in actual fact, the manager made us open earlier. So like we came like 7:30 or something close to that. And yeah, we had to be there before 7:30. Then we'd go in. I worked on the till only, but sometimes I had to do floor as well and till at the same time. So he'd make us come in early, then we'd have to cash billets at the tills, and then as soon as, I don't know, they got everything sorted out, like within a few minutes, they'd open up.
I think it's also because I also worked as a cashier, so we did a lot of the same sort of things. Had to cash up in the morning, cash up in the evening, which also meant that you go home later compared to everyone else sometimes because you're still busy cashing up and they've already left.
And also, they we don't count the coins as money at least, unless like there's a discrepancy at the end of the day. But the machine that they used for it to count all the money, a lot of the time, it would actually like exclude or include money when it would mess up the whole thing. So we'd have to like save cents that people like leave because no one wants the 10 cents. So they would leave the 10 cents and then we'd add it to the end or something like that.
Yeah, you're lucky you got a counting machine. I had to manually count it every morning, every afternoon.
That takes too long. I think that's why they got them
exactly. But we weren't. I mean, we were dealing with our float was only like 500 rand, so it wasn't a crazy amount to count.
I think ours was like $1,000.
Yeah, because you were more what's the word? Your retail was
because it's close enough to the name. So the Crazy basically is like a big chain. They do normal stuff, they do pet stuff, and then they do little knickknacks. There's a whole bunch of different types of shops in their name. And the one I worked at had lots of home appliance stuff and knickknacks. It had a little bit of everything. But because it was such a big brand, you had to start the day with like $1,000 in the till.
See, mine was a linen store, which I won't say the name of. But we mostly handled card purchases because the large purchases people made, they never did with cash.
It's actually really surprising about that, hey? Like, a lot of people pay with the card, but then you would get like a certain religion or something like that. They mostly carried cash. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, cash. They were coming with cash, like a lot of cash. And you sit there like, okay, let's just count this through. And you had to double check everything when you're dealing with someone. When you had where I worked, you had the card machine. So it didn't go straight from the computer to the card machine. We had to manually type it in, which actually caused me to have a large amount of money taken out of my paycheck because things happened. I got confused and I accidentally didn't type the correct amount. I undercharged the customer by accident. I was very good at my job that I usually didn't have any discrepancies at the end of the day. Like, you know, I said like the rand or cents would be off, but I was pretty good. But this time it was like 600 rand So it was a lot of money, and it came straight out of my account. So, or my money. So the thing is, I could still just give him.
Yeah, it's also unfair because companies do have a budget for mishaps like that. They don't actually need to punish the staff that's made that mistake, but they do it just to be arseholes. Because I know the previous place I was working, they had a damages budget of like 3,000 Rand a month. And I broke 2 of these glass bottles in my last month that I worked there, and I never paid them back. I left before they wanted me to pay them back, and I was never going to because they can account for damages. They just never do.
We had a thing that kicked in, I think, within like the 4th or 5th month I was working there. And basically what happened is if you were a Rand over or under, they'd make you pay that out of your salary.
Which is bullshit. It's ridiculous.
And if something broke, of course, you had to pay for it. You had to take that home because you broke it, which makes sense. But stuff was packed in a certain way in that place that it could also easily fall. The scariest aisle was the glass aisle because that stuff was so expensive.
And it can easily break. It's terrible. I was in charge of glass. The only fucking glass in a linen shop I was in charge of, and I'm the clumsiest person around. It's a miracle I only broke 2.
They remind me of another guy that was at my work, and he was extremely clumsy, and he dropped a whole bunch of stuff. He dropped like the cleaning, those like liquid things, those jugs of liquids, like cleaning supplies. So it's like for floors, windows, this and that. He dropped quite a few. And I know at one point he dropped one that we had to clean the floor. The floor, we could never get back to the same because now this one spot would always just get soapy because we couldn't get the soap out of the floor.
Yeah, some of that stuff just soaks in. It's terrible.
I think for me, the worst thing that was at my work was our manager. He made rules like I'm sure it's not just me. Lumpy has it too, where they make up rules for no reason, just because they feel like it. Literally, they said that. Yeah. So for us, one of the biggest things that popped up was like, you're human beings. You're gonna get sick. And the problem was, if you got sick more than once or twice, the manager instantly was like, oh, you're sick all the time. And he would get so angry with us the second we said we're not feeling well at all. He would get so pissed off. You could not ask to leave. You couldn't ask to leave and go home because you're feeling ill. He would start getting pissed off at you for saying you feel ill. And then one day I told him, like, I'm not feeling so great, but I'm gonna kick it. I want to try and get through the day, but if I can't, can I please? He went on a whole tantrum with me, and I was like, never mind. And I walked away.
Which is also bullshit. I had the exact same thing with my sick days. When I started working there, I had the sick leave policy, yada yada, and they mentioned that they had a new sick leave policy, one they didn't give me to sign. I found out later on that there is no such thing as sick leave at this company. If you're sick, you've got to work your days that you were off sick. So let's say you had like a 10-day stretch and then you would have had 1 day off, right? If you were sick in those 10 days and had to take a day off, you're working that day. You don't get that day off anymore.
Yeah, from where I worked, and he also after working there for like a few months, all of a sudden they were like, okay guys, there's a new rule because all of you keep getting sick, is words. One day like someone came in and you bring your doctor's note and everything, but it's expensive seeing a doctor, so not everyone could do it, so they'd have to just sign away one of their off days. And eventually at one point, even if you brought a doctor's note or you forgot your doctor's note or whatever, he would take away an off day and you'd still have to sign for like that off day that's where you were sick. So you basically had to pay out of pocket because you couldn't bring a doctor's note or whatever, and you basically couldn't come in that day, so that's why they take pay away for that day. And he took an off day, and when we complained, in front of where the tills were right by the door, when we complained to him, he literally said and started yelling at us, saying, literally his words, "I take those days away because you don't deserve them. Because you weren't in for work, so you don't deserve pay for that day. Even though we're already signing to lose money for that day that we weren't in for work. Now he wants to take another day that we need, because there's not a lot of off days, guys. You get like 3 or 4 max for a whole month. 5 if you're extremely lucky."
They have this god complex, like they own you. They think you owe them everything because they're paying your salary. And it's like,
God.
We're providing you a service, we're providing you a labor, you're paying us. It's a 1-for-1. Not that we owe you or you owe us. We're equals, and yet they think they're better than you.
Yeah, we're supposed to be equal partners here. Like, we both understand we're human. We both understand we make mistakes. We get sick. We're trying to work it through it. But now you have this... Yeah, he had a real big god complex going on. He honestly felt like everything he did, he was like, "Oh no, the company would back me up," kind of attitude. And he never got in trouble for any of this. When people kept leaving and resigning, they wouldn't even come back in. They're just like, "I'm resigned." And I had to do it because mentally I was ready for something to fall on me and kill me, because I was like, I don't want to come back. And yeah, just that retail makes you go in a dark place. But basically, like, he got a slap on the wrist every single time things got worse and worse. And they're like, "Why is this happening?" He's like, this generation is so soft. They don't want to work for nothing. He was the one kicking us all around. So the floor staff hated him. And we all hated him. He was a terrible person. There was one manager out of that whole team of managers that actually was like, felt safe to talk to. We all felt safe to talk to one manager out of like 4 or 5 managers.
Yes. The issue I had, I left because I had a whole bunch of shit go wrong at the exact same time. My probation ended, they didn't renew my contract, my transport dropped me, my grandfather got sick, and it just all came together. I was like, you know what, fuck that, I can't handle this. And I left. Because it wasn't financially good. Which is also something else that's pretty bad, is the pay. Pay's never good in retail.
The pay is basically, maybe will get you food for the month. It won't get you anything else.
Yeah. And if that. Because I mean, I was flat broke every month that I was working there. And you mentioned having a bad manager. I didn't say the name of the company I worked at, so it's fine. But the manager, when I was working there, in the first month I was there was a scandal because she was stealing time sheets, and changing them so that one of her relatives that was working there earned more money. And she never got fired for it. She didn't even get punished at all.
No, they just give her a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, she should have been fired. Like, she'd been doing it for like 2 years.
It was the same with my manager. He should have been fired long time ago with everyone leaving and complaining. But no, he literally, all the time, just a small slap on the wrist.
Yeah, it's always like that. And anytime I complained about anything at the job, I just got told, "Oh, maybe this job isn't for you. Maybe retail's not for you." Yeah, no, it isn't. I'll be honest.
Retail's for no one.
Yeah, it's literally not meant to be a permanent job.
No. It's literally doesn't even give you the pay to be a permanent job.
Yeah. If you're in retail and you've been there for ages, you need to work on moving elsewhere. Because trust me, at places like yourself.
That's the problem though, because I remember speaking to a lot of the people when I was working there, and they all would say, like, if you work in there once, don't come back, or don't stay there for years, because the more experience you get in retail, the harder it is to jump into another work, because they're all already going, "We want experience for your office job or your this or your contract or whatever else you're trying to get into." They want experience for that. Now you're going to rock up with, "Oh, I've worked as a cashier or a floor person at this and this retail shop." It's not going to get you, it's just going to get you retail experience. Only retail's going to want you. And it's not worth it. The pay, the hours, none of it's worth it.
It really isn't. Look, my dad's been in retail for a long time because he's been a manager and in receiving and that sort of thing. And even him, he's getting tired of it because it drains your body in every way.
And
You're
emotionally.
constantly on your feet and emotionally because you're away from your family, you're away from your life.
And you're not
with me, I was working
to afford laugh.
I mean, when I was working like almost 2 weeks in a row without breaks, it's shit. You get home, you're exhausted, you just go to bed, you wake up the next morning, it's back to work. It's such a vicious cycle.
And it gets like worse, I think, close to holiday times. Where I was working, he didn't want anyone off or sick for like 2 weeks straight most of the time.
Yeah, we had the exact same thing when we had that like batch of public holidays. Nobody was allowed to be off.
It's a job for like a part-time person to just use to rack in like a little bit of cash, because that's all you're getting is a little bit of cash. They're literally giving you the bare minimum. That little bit of cash, just so you can get little things you need or want.
Yeah.
Or like if you're in school and you need a little money, it's a part-time job, honestly. It should not be someone's main job with the pay they give you.
And never think it's your only option, because there are always other options out there. Even if you have no qualifications, there's always other stuff you can do.
Yeah, there's always better stuff. If you have someone, like, the main way people get jobs nowadays, like, you need to know someone to get in somewhere, but if you can, find a place that's not retail. Like, Don't make me wrong, we need people in retail, we need to be able to go shopping and get stuff, but the big problem is it is so toxic and it's terrible for your health, mentally and physically. I still remember my feet basically felt like I was stepping on needles from all the standing, because they don't let you sit behind the tills.
No, they don't let you sit. I got to admit, some places do. Like, I've seen some shops which allow their cashiers to sit, but we didn't. We were never allowed to sit.
We had to stand. Managers go into the office and they go and sit and do paperwork, and then they come out when they want to stand around. And my manager, he liked to stand around because he literally had to be bossing everyone around. Yeah, my boss had to be around. He had to stand by the door so he could literally see what everyone's doing, so he could boss them around. He literally didn't even give people time to do their own jobs because he was so busy micromanaging everyone that didn't need micromanaging.
And it actually prevents you from getting work done.
Exactly. And like the standing at the till, he would get annoyed because we would get angsty standing, and then he'd be like, walk around. Then he would see us walking around at one point because we would try to give each other, like there's two tills right by each other. So we try to give each other time to walk around. And some girls took real big advantage of that, and they would literally go for like an hour or two walk around while you're stuck there standing. And when they come back for like 5 minutes, they leave again, and it's like, it's my turn. Like, there's nothing for us to do.
Yeah, you also need that breather, otherwise you burn out so quickly.
Exactly. And like the most I can do is I can go fix up, like, because we also had stands as till people. I had like a whole stand full of like ceramics, and I had to make sure that no one takes from it, steals. I had to make sure rearrange it, dust it. And then I had other stands I got in charge of. Then when the senior above me, I was very trusted, so I got put in charge of more stands. And then I get in trouble for not touching my stands because the person next to me keeps disappearing from the till, and there has to always be someone at one of those tills.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, they expect you now to just do more and more and more, but still also run back to the till to get that done as well. Insane.
Exactly. And then when my manager, when he would see us walking around, I don't know, not a lot of the girls, but like, I don't know, it's whenever he'd see me or someone, like, we'd get up and start walking around a bit. Why are you walking around?
Yeah.
My feet were going, no, go stand at the till. Why are you walking around? You're not paid for yada, yada, yada. Then when we're standing at the till, eventually it's like, why aren't you walking around? Like, what does he want?
Exactly. They always want a reason to treat you like shit because it makes them feel above you. They'll always find the tiniest little issues to just make your day worse.
Yeah, like, I don't know what's up with so many managers having this superiority complex. Like I said before, there was one manager we all actually trusted with our life, that we all went to him to complain, and that's how we kind of got a little around that sick day thing where he was trying to take our days. He did save us from that for a little bit before I left, because after a while, that's when I left.
Yeah.
And so not all managers are terrible, but like, considering I had like 5 or something managers and only one of them, it was like 4 or 5, close to that number, but like only one of them I could actually go to and trust and talk to about my concerns.
See, that's the problem. One good person doesn't help when everyone else is shit.
And what was sad is he left before I did. Like, he got given so much work by that manager that was busy micromanaging and making up the rules. He wasn't doing his job he was so busy trying to ruin everyone's life by micromanaging us and pestering us that he put all his work on that nice manager, that nice manager went to lunch and never came back. It literally became a running joke because he never came back after.
I can't blame him. Can't blame him. Sometimes people just reach their breaking point and they're like, you know what, fuck it, it's not worth it.
Yeah, so I said, like, he wasn't doing well health or mentally. He needed like a break from all that. It was stressing him out so much. And then I got to that point, I was just like, I can't do it anymore. Mentally, I just want it. So I'd rather leave now while I can keep my sanity than stay in that place.
People drains everything from you. And I felt the exact same way when I was there. It was the worst place I've ever worked.
Yeah, the problem is I've worked in some stuff like stable work, I've done writing lessons, I've done face painting, I've done all that in the past, but it's very hard to get a proper job or get work with that kind of experience.
Yeah, it really is. And even now, it's hard to find work in general.
Unless you know someone. Or do you have any other stories from your work and the manager?
We had a lot of the same issues. One time there was a mistake on the system. So we had these stupid blankets. They were like $2,500. And it came up on the system that one of them had been scanned with the wrong code and the customer had been charged $0 for it in a large purchase.
Yeah, that happens a lot, hey.
So for about a week, my manager was on my back going on, oh, you need to make sure you're scanning everything properly because look at what you did last time. So I said, fuck that, I'll go through the slips and I'll see who made the mistake. Turns out the mistake happened on a day I wasn't there.
Yeah, they just found someone to use as a scapegoat.
I never got an apology. The manager acknowledged, oh, okay, it wasn't my fault. She still gave me shit about not scanning stuff properly, even though I wasn't the one who made the mistake, she was. Because the day I wasn't there was managing the top. And no, it was my fault. I should have been there, I guess. And anytime something was scanned wrong, they'd blame it on me, and it always happened on a day when either I wasn't there or when I wasn't the one working the top. I know I didn't make a mistake like that.
Yeah, people are shit. But yeah, I think that is about it. Like, it's shitty pay. It shouldn't be a permanent job if you can.
So just in closing, as we said before, don't make retail your permanent job. If you're able to find other options or other places to work, do it in a heartbeat. Do not feel obligated to keep working at a shitty job.
Yeah,
you don't owe them anything.
Respect your health, respect your mental and physical health, please. It's gonna drop down in retail, but like, you need to make sure you think about yourself too. If you can't survive like that.
Your mental health is more important than anything else when you're working. It really is. Because the minute that declines, you won't be able to get anything done and you'll just hate it.
And then you'll start hating yourself, and then your mind's going to probably go to dark places.
Yeah. But that's our experiences with retail. I'm sure we both probably have more stories about terrible jobs or terrible work we've had to do. So if you guys want a part 2 to this video, let us know in the comments. Tell us some of your experiences.
Okay, everybody. So please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And if you have anything, like Slump says, please comment down below. And with that, everyone, have a lovely day. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.